John O'Brien out here in southwest Wisconsin on a property that we're trying to dial the deer in more and control the weeds. A lot of foxtail, pigweed, tough to kill weeds out here. The last couple of years the owner decided to have me step in and help them figure out a strategy to dial deer in more, control weeds, 365-day nutrition, etc., etc. We planted strips, so we left a little block right next to the mass builder where we'll have grain sorghum. Then we had a strip of corn right where I'm looking, straight down the middle, kind of in a shooting lane about 60-80 yards wide is beans. To the right of that will be a strip of corn, and then rimming around the whole edge again, 16-foot strip of grain sorghum right next to the mass builder. On this side here, this is a big tall tower for more gun stand focus. Another field, this one's pure corn. There's some pollinators that go along the edge of the field there. Way out there, I'll see if I can dial it in, but there's a little bit of a natural grass waterway that goes down there. Put a water hole there. There's a deer stand within 30 yards of that water hole. Considering putting a water hole on the end of this field. Both stands probably about 100 yards in front of me. Other stand locations around here as well. And so when we laid down the 1 quart of Metolachlor along with liquid starter, I lightly ran across planted the beans and corn with my plot master. I'm having him just run across with the drag. The big thing is I had 90-95% of the kernels covered good, but there's a lot of turkeys out here and that, so I said, you know what, let's just run across with the drag. Yeah, it's going to kind of smoothen out. You know, it was a little bit damp when he worked the ground earlier in the week, and so again, we are doing some reduced tillage right now. In the future we'll be doing no-till. Some more corn and beans planted later. Going to be no-till in a different part of the property, but this was the weed infested mess. So what we're using, like I said, is Metolachlor pre-plant, 1 quart an acre. We're going to be using Liberty. So we actually use Liberty Link soybeans, Liberty Link corn out here, and in the other area I'll be using generic Accent, but also laying down a pre-plant of Metolachlor out in that area. So again, we designed this so that you had everything within 30 yards of the bow stand locations. There's scrape lines there, 30 yards on that side. Anything standing in the mass builder plots is 30 yards from different stand locations. Grain sorghum more for winter feed, transitioning from tall to fading into a little bit shorter. And then the beans, see, the farmer thinks that the beans will never make it, but again, we'll be using plant skid to try to keep the high deer numbers off the beans. We'll see if that works. He doesn't think it will. I believe it does. I made it work last year on another property with high deer numbers. So again, a lot of research. There's a few other interesting things we'll be doing here too. When we spray the next application, we'll also be doing foliar feeding as well with a unique cocktail, working on getting the worm numbers up, changing the CEC slightly, weeds under control, not using any dry fertilizer, 100% liquid, which is what I do on any of the properties I plant, manage, etc., etc. This is a nice day here in the middle of May, southwest Wisconsin. Part of my research, John O'Brien, Grandpa Ray Outdoors.